Alright, what is up boys and girls, welcome back to another video. As always, I'm Crypto Maximalist. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another daily update on Elrond or Egld or Multiverse or whatever you want to call it these days. We're just going to call it Multiverse because I think that is technically what they have rebranded to now as. As always, thank you very much for joining me. Please do like and subscribe and leave a comment and all that good stuff. And with that being said, we're just going to take a quick look at the daily time frame here for Egld. So as you can see, ever since we came down to this low down here, we've had a massive reaction, haven't we? Getting down to around, what we're looking at here, around $22. Really, we were probably coming down into this little area here, weren't we? There's not that much support for Elrond, as you can see, since it just came about almost at the start of the previous bull market, but never really made any chart structure before that, as you can see, launching around September of 2020, just after, I would argue, the bull market had started, or it was just about to start. But you can see here, obviously, had a very nice bull market. We came down and we lost this key area of support here, starting to grind to the downside throughout this area here, just continuing down. Really, we had a decent level of support in and around this area here, but we kept going to the downside, in my opinion, just perpetually looking for that area where you would see the bounce. Obviously, this area here, this first level of previous structure, was where it had the first kind of bounce in this area here. But then obviously continuing to the downside for that second area of structure is where we finally did see the bounce for Elrond, obviously getting very overextended from the high at that point. If you look from there to there, it's around a 95-96% correction, which is what people tend to look for before they start getting back into cryptos during the bear market, at least from what I've seen. And you can see here since then it's had a very decent reaction off the low, up around 3x since around halfway through October, where it did make that low, or at least that double bottom there. You can see we came down into this area, but obviously a lack of momentum to the downside, really just low volume and interest in selling off any more from that level. And you can see pretty much stuck under this 100-day moving average ever since really back here when we came and made this high of the bull market. We came down, came back, retested, came back, but we couldn't hold above it, retested and fell again, retested and fell. We tried to break above it here, retested, fell. Started to consolidate here, where some people were thinking that we might get the bounce, but then you can see fell down below the moving average again, and we've just continuously been retesting this 100-day moving average to the downside for a long time. But then, as I was saying, we obviously came up here, broke through it, consolidated underneath this resistance here. I was skeptical at this point whether or not we might come down and at least backtest again, but with Bitcoin looking very bullish indeed, and the altcoin market starting to move somewhat, we've seen quite a few good movers like Cardano, for example, and a few other of these larger, different kinds of larger altcoins that have been doing quite well. You can see we came up here, ripped through the resistance, and then ran all the way up to our first Fibonacci level, which is at this $47, $48 level. The 023 Fibonacci, as you can see, coinciding with some previous levels of structure here, where we did see ourselves run all the way up into this, consolidate, and then obviously people thinking, are we going to have a retracement? But then obviously with Bitcoin looking good as well, I think Egld just basically decided it was going to break, retest, and then continue this level. Just going to start working the Fibonacci levels from what we can tell in this area here. Fibonacci levels work really well for cryptocurrency bull markets, in my own personal experience. So I do use them a lot to define some of these key targets that we could see for cryptocurrencies going forward. And as you can see, this is just a very simple break and retest. We run to the upside, retesting that Fibonacci level perfectly, and then we ran up again, currently sitting at around $63 for Elrond, or Multiverse as it's now called. And you can see we ran up into that area here, which is basically that previous area of swing high resistance in this area here, where we've just stalled out today with Bitcoin having a bit of a retracement. But as I said before, with Multiverse looking very good for continuation, I think we're probably going to be looking at heading up into this next Fibonacci level before anything else, in my opinion, if things do continue this bullishly for Multiverse or Elrond or whatever you want to call it. At $76 at the 038 Fibonacci is the next target for me. If we do have a retracement, you've obviously got a lot of nice areas to bounce at now. Could be looking at doing something like this, but I do think that $76 level is going to be tested sooner rather than later, really, considering how bullish that we have been over the past few months or so going into this next bull market. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching indeed. Please do like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, Sign up to some of the stuff in the description below, by the way. There's loads of good free money to be had down there. And I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.